Good afternoon, everyone. Developing SQL databases, identifying and analyzing locking issues. Introduction. The Identifying and Analyzing Locking Issue module provides you with the instruction and device to develop your hands-on skills in the following topics: working with SQL Server locks, managing deadlocks. It will take approximately 50 minutes to complete this lab. First, let us on the PLAB SQL1 as the required device. So while waiting, exercise 1, working with SQL Server locks. The feature of locking in SQL Server databases enables you as database administrator to lock certain resources such as tables, row, or page to block other transactions from accessing the resources. For example, if a transaction is in progress on a table, you can set a lock on the table to block the resources. The lock resources becomes unavailable in the database till the lock is released. SQL Server Database Engine locks the resources using various types of lock modes. These lock modes helps to identify the way to access the database resource in case of concurrent sessions. Some of the lock modes are exclusive, shared, update, intent exclusive, intent shared, schema, bulk update, and so on. In this exercise, you will work with SQL Server locks. Task 1, identifying the database queries holding locks. In this task, you will work with system queries that involve system tables related to locks. First, sys.partitions. Second, sys.dm underscore trendon underscore locks. And third, sys.dm.exec dm underscore exec dot underscore sql underscore text. You will perform the following actions: create a new table named product underscore temp, create sessions 1 transaction with update statement, create session 2 transactions, start the SQL Server agent service, and lastly, obtain the lock details of the transaction. Step 1. Ensure you have powered on the required device and connect to PLAB SQL1. From the PLAB SQL1 desktop, click Start and click Microsoft SQL Management Studio. The Connect to Server dialog box appears. From the server type drop-down list, click Database Engine and click Connect. Step 3. The SQL Server Management Studio opens. In the Object Explorer, expand Databases folder. Step 4. To select the database from the list of databases, click AdventureWorks W 2016 CTP3. To create, click New Query. The New Query pane open. To create a new table, type the following query in the New Query pane. This query checks if the table name product underscore temp exists in the database or not. Click Execute or press F5. The query runs successfully and the result is displayed. Step 7. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click the New Query. Type the following query in the New Query pane. Consider this query a session transact. To run, click Execute or press F5. The query runs successfully. Note: result pane is empty as there is a delay in the acquire execution. Step 8. To create new query, click the New Query. Type the following query in the New Query pane. Consider this query as session 2 transaction. Click F5 or press execute. The query runs successfully. Note the result pane is empty as there is a delay in the query execution. Step 9. Click the new query. Type the following query in the new query pane. This is a system query. The system tables are joined using inner join. To run the query, click execute or press F5. The query runs successfully and the result set is displayed. In the Object Explorer window, right-click the server agent and from the context menu, click Start. To confirm the start of SQL Server Agent Server on PLAB SQL01, click Yes in Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. Please wait while the SQL Server Agent service is started. So notice that server agent is successfully started. To open the activity monitor in the Object Explorer, right-click PLAB SQL1. And then step 14, click the process. The processes section is activity monitor shows dynamic data in real-time environment. Notice the ID 55 and then details. For the purpose of the demonstration section, ID 55 is selected. Session dialog box appears. The dialog box appears with detail of the session for which the lock is set. Close to close the dialog box. Close all the panes without saving information. Close. And then next. Exercise 2, Managing Deadlocks. What is deadlock? Is a situation in SQL Server database when two or more sessions are waiting for each other to complete the transaction. So, task 1. Identify and analyze deadlock using SQL Server Profiler. In this test, you will perform the following actions. Create a trace file using SQL Server Profile. Select the deadlocks related events. Start the trace. Execute trace and transaction on the same table to create a simple deadlock scenario. To step 1, from the tools and click the SQL Server Profiler. Tools. So SQL Profile windows open, connect to server. So SQL Server Profiler windows open, connect to server dialog box appears. Keep the default settings, click connect. Step 3. Trace properties dialog box appears in the trace name. Delete the system generated name. Deadlock the name. Click to save file. And then save as in the left pane. Navigate to local disk. And administrator. Then desktop. And then save. The SQL Server Profile trace file is saved with an extension of TRC. Notice the trace file name and path are displayed in dialog box. Step 6. In the Trace Properties dialog box, click the event selection. Uncheck the audit login and uncheck the audit logout. Step 7. Show the all events. Step 8. Click to expand the logs node under the event column. Step 9. Under logs, click the deadlock graph checkbox. Click the lock deadlock checkbox. Click the lock deadlock chain and click run. SQL Server Profiler deadlock trace plab SQL1 window. Notice that trans start appears under event class column. Notice the message is trace is running appears in the status bar of the window. Step 11. On the taskbar, click SQL Server. paste. And then click the execute or press F5. Note the result pane is empty as there is a delay in the query execution. So step 12, click the new query. Type the following in the new query pane. Query, consider this query as section 2. The result pane is empty as there is delay in query execution. So to create, click the new query, select, copy, and paste. This query will retrieve and display all the records from the Beam product table. Note, this is third transaction. This is hit at the database to create a deadlock. So, on the taskbar, click the profile icon. The SQL Server profile window open. Notice the 3 transactions that were hit at the database. Trace has captured all the transactions. Step 15. Notice the lock monitor has set and deadlocks priority. And to priority for the 3 transactions that were executed. However, in this sample demonstration, deadlocks graph cannot be generated as the transaction hits were from a single user only. To generate a deadlocks graph in real-time environment, you need simultaneously multiple transaction hit as the same database from concurrent users. Close all the active windows. Then next, developing SQL databases, identifying and analyzing locking issues summary. We covered the following activities in this module, working with SQL Server locks and managing deadlocks. And that's all. Thank you.